Spoiler warning, if you care about the show Secret Invasion. Unfortunately for all of you, I cannot tell a lie. The Secret Invasion show is bad. Really bad. And worse than just being bad, it is so boring. There's a lot of bad superhero movies and shows that I still like. I wouldn't even say Secret Invasion is as bad as some of them, but it is so bland, unoriginal, and sauceless. To me, that's worse than if it was a bad show. Secret Invasion is an adaptation, I guess, of the 2008 comic book. I admit, I haven't actually read the comic until I watched the show, so I decided to go back and read it to be sure that I could make fair comparisons between the two. And I don't know if I can, because you could tell me that the Secret Invasion show was based on fucking Dougal, and it would make more sense. The two projects have pretty much nothing in common, besides that they both have Skrulls in them. Marvel even told the writers of the show not to read the comic. And I'm not a comic purist who thinks that everything has to be exactly the way it was in the comics. I don't really care when movies or shows change things, but at least do so in a way that's as good or good in a different way than what the comics did. I don't really think the comic is even that great. It has a lot of interesting ideas and concepts, but the Civil War comic is not great either, but it made for a pretty good MCU movie. And to make something abundantly clear, I am an MCU fan, or I've been a fan since I was 8 years old when I saw the first Iron Man in theaters. I've seen every movie except 2 of them since then in theaters. So I don't want it to come across as me trying to criticize something to be different. I'm criticizing something that I used to really love and now I don't. So the Secret Invasion show is about Nick Fury fighting a group of Skrull extremists who have infiltrated different parts of the world government. With the help of Talos and Gaia, played by Emilia Clarke, they spend 6 episodes walking around in different alleyways talking about how much of a loser Nick Fury is. I gotta be real with you guys, watching this show really felt like doing homework. I had to force myself to watch every single episode because at the end of the day, I don't have much more to say beyond it just being really boring. There is a decent way to make Secret Invasion a grounded spy situation where Nick Fury is totally alone, fighting a threat that no one else knows exists. But there's really no build-up or stakes to anything like that in the show. The show just tells you exactly what is happening from the start. We know exactly who the good Skrulls are, who the bad Skrulls are, and who the secret Skrulls are. In fact, you'd think the one thing the show would do is have the evil Skrull, the main villain, try to impersonate someone else and trick our hero. But no, he just stays as this fucking guy. Rhodey is revealed to be a Skrull in this show, and who cares? He's the only Avenger Marvel would ever be brave enough to turn into a Skrull. We knew that from the beginning, and none of it matters anyway, because the real Rhodey is just alive in a basement. The same thing is true of Everett Ross from the Black Panther movies. He's revealed to be a Skrull in the first episode. It's treated like some big twist, but it's not, because here he is, alive and well, at the end of the show. Wouldn't it have been cool if Rhodey was like with Fury the whole time, fighting the threat, and only in the finale is it revealed that he's a Skrull, shocking Fury and the audience? Instead, it's incredibly obvious from the jump that he is a Skrull, because he's acting completely out of character the whole time, and the show just admits it pretty much immediately. And, not to mention, it's just another Marvel villain whose whole motivation is to blow up the world. There's a whole subplot about the Skrulls feeling like they're not accepted in their own skin, which is just not really ever concluded. Emilia Clarke is the one who has a problem with it, and at the end of the show, she's still in her human form, and she doesn't really say anything about it past like the second to last episode. Fury has a moment where he kisses his Skrull wife, which I guess is the conclusion to that, but again, she wasn't the one with that issue. Gaia, or Emilia Clarke, was. I just have a note here that says, action bad, and that's true. It's another Marvel show that ends in a really bad CGI fight between 2 characters that I don't care about, and it looks like garbage. We've all seen the clip of Gaia with the Drax arm. This is now Marvel's worst rated show, and I think it shows because, like, who's the audience for this? The whole show's just a ton of wasted potential. That's really all I have to give in terms of a review, but I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think the show should have been like to be good. To answer what the show should have been, number 1, I do think Fury still deserved a show, and he could have gotten it, but maybe do something like the Howling Commandos, where he has a group of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and they go on Black Ops missions. You can still lead into the Secret Invasion show with that and plant some of the seeds in there. And then, I think Secret Invasion should have just been Avengers 5. Picture this. We have a new team of Avengers. Captain America, Captain Marvel, maybe an Ant-Man, whoever you want to throw in there. The new team, they're kind of wary and unsure of each other. They're not really sure what the Avengers are anymore, especially without Steve and Tony around to lead them. Then you'd have this interesting dynamic of distrust already, and see them struggling to make the team work. Then, here comes Nick Fury, looking shaken. He doesn't really trust any of those Avengers, maybe only Carol Danvers. And then he introduces this threat of Skrulls that have infiltrated them. The whole movie would be like a big whodunit, or like The Thing, where you don't know who you can trust and who you can't, culminating in some big reveals that this character's been a Skrull for a while. Then the team would devise a way to determine who the Skrulls are, like Reed does in the comic book, leading to a final battle, and having a newly solidified Avengers team at the end of it. Even better, you could have all the shows that came before lead into it. Maybe the Clint Barton that Kate Bishop met in the Hawkeye show wasn't actually Clint Barton. Then you can add more depth to both of them by having Clint have to deal with the fact that there's this girl running around using his name, and Kate having to deal with the fact that she never met the real Clint. Or maybe She-Hulk had a trial defending a superhero that did something a little illegal, a little out of character, only to find out in the movie that that was actually a Skrull the whole time. It's really surprising to me that Marvel didn't do this. The show as it stands is just nothing. Nothing of consequence happened. Fury is still in space. The Skrulls are still mad. You could not watch the show and still have the same information as if you did watch the show. We don't even really learn more about Fury besides that he has a wife. Great, good for him. It's already really stupid that we're jumping into this big universe-ending threat with Krang. Got Ninja Turtles on the brain. With Kang, without having an Avengers movie to establish a new team first. We don't even know who the Avengers are. Having an Avengers movie to bridge the gap would really help. The show is just real lame. There's no effort to go beyond the bare minimum. There's no paranoia within the show. The characters always know who the Skrulls are, where they are, what they're doing. They never even find a way to determine who the Skrulls are and are not, which is really weird because Marvel loves to make up bullshit devices that can cure all their problems. I don't even know if I could count this as a review because the show is just not that deep and there's not much to talk about. Marvel still has not had a good show yet, and this is not the first. I really hope Marvel learns from this, because if I have to watch them do Daredevil dirty, I will have to go to Marvel headquarters and intervene. Anyway, who's hyped for Agatha?